My name is Kay Byfield, and this is your ArtSpeaks Studio moment from ArtSpeaks Studio in Dallas, Texas. We are a teaching studio where we teach online and in studio classes, mostly in watercolor, both in the local area and online in remote locations. So if you're interested in watercolor classes, check us out. Today's video is a little bit of a change of pace. This week I went to a paint out with the Southwestern Watercolor Society to Corsicana, Texas, to paint on location, or as we call it, in plein air. I am not noted as a location painter. The reason is because I don't want to paint architecture and things that stay still. I like to paint things that are alive and are moving. Movement is a big part of what I do. And so I typically don't paint out on location very often. These paint outs are some of the rare occasions when I do paint on location. And I do it because I enjoy the opportunity to be in the community. We have other painters painting together, although we set up all over town, so we barely see each other, actually. And I also think it's important to do things that are outside your comfort zone. It just kind of sparks you up and gets your juices flowing a little, and new artistic discoveries can come. So anyway, today we are going to include the video that I made while I was painting on location and the description of what I painted and why, and show the painting as we progressed. So I decided to paint the top floors of this building behind me, and because I think they're very interesting and I think they offer a lot of color opportunity. The building is here on a street corner, and I've parked my car so that I have a clear view of it from my window. And I heard it was going to be really windy today, so I decided to paint from my car. So I've set up my materials. I'm gonna put the painting on my lap and I'm gonna go for it. Okay, so I have my drawing sketched on my watercolor paper. I stretched the paper so that it would be adhered to the board that I'm using. I've got my paints, my brushes, my water, my Kleenex, my sponge, my spray bottle, and some drinks to keep me comfortable. And there's my building right out there. Okay, using my drawing as the start, I went in and put in some blue for the sky with some variety in it, a little bit of warm in there as well, and then I put some warm into the building in a kind of very loose kind of way, and that's before I begin to establish any of the actual shapes. Okay, so I finished the first step in the painting, and so I'm impatient to keep going, so I've brought it out across the street and put it in the sun so it can dry. Okay, so I've been painting for a couple of hours. I've managed to pull out some of the lights and kind of get some of the windows in so I can sort of see where my placements are going to be. And now it's just a matter of refining some things and seeing how to pull it all together. Okay, so I've reached a place where I'm going to have to start making some decisions. The color that I have in the painting is a lot warmer than what it shows here, but anyway. And I've got to decide, when is this thing going to be finished? I've got it, it's painted pretty loose up till now. Some of it needs to be refined a little bit. And I've got to figure out how far am I going to go to make this work. So now I'm back in the studio, and this is the finished painting. I'm I'm reasonably happy with some aspects of it and not so happy about a few others. I made a choice to push the color on the building from being quite so yellow as it is in reality to something a little bit more orange to play up the contrast between the sky and the building itself. I pushed myself to paint really loosely, a lot more loosely than I typically paint, because I wanted to play with that side of things. And my focal point is here in these windows. And as we go away from the focal point, I get more and more suggestive and do not put in as much detail. I think for the goals that I had for the painting, it's pretty successful. I'm unhappy with some drawing errors that I made. Some of the proportions are not accurate. I'm also unhappy with some of my color choices, but that's okay. But the big thing is I painted a complete painting that is small. It's only 8 by 12. But it would frame out to 12 by 16 should I choose to frame it. And I did it in a few hours, which for me is really fast. So overall, I met my goals. The point, of course, of doing something like this that isn't really what you want to do, I much prefer my studio paintings. I think they're more in keeping with what my objectives as a painter are. But I enjoy doing something like this because it brings out another side to my creativity, and it forces me to revisit my skill sets and get to know myself a little better. And that's one of the benefits of becoming a painter, is that you see yourself in new ways, and you see yourself through other people's eyes, and you grow as a painter, but also as a person. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you will do some things in your own life that take you a little bit out of your comfort zone. And in the meantime, happy painting.